Mr. Wang Licheng, please take the floor. Thank you.
好，各位嘉宾，
So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Wang Licheng, Chairman of China-Africa Business Council. Welcome to the webinar today to discuss the prospects and challenges of China-Africa trade, industry, and new infrastructure under the epidemic situation. And half a year has already passed. We're getting into the second half of 2020, but I feel that I have done nothing, but half a year has already passed. So this year is really very special. The public health incident caused by COVID-19 is still fermenting rapidly. There are already 215 countries and regions in the world affected, with a cumulative number of confirmed cases of more than 10 million. So this is a true challenge for the world. And in Africa, there are about 400,000 unconfirmed cases in Africa right now. So the world is still in a very dangerous situation. Africa is one of the areas of global concern for the prevention and control of the global epidemic, and its effective control of COVID-19 is really very important for world efforts. So China-Africa Business Council pay much attention to the development trend of COVID-19 in Africa, although a lot of us are in China, but we are really concerned with Africa and also African people. We really hope that different countries in Africa can tide over this crisis and can deal with the COVID-19 epidemic successfully. And China-Africa Business Council is an international council. It is under the All China Federation of Industry and Commerce. It is especially targeting Africa. Ever since its establishment in 2006, it has been participating in China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation in different ways, promoting China-Africa friendship and cooperating with various work of the China-Africa Cooperation Forum. There are more than 1,000 member companies, and 400 of them are local African companies. During this pandemic, China-Africa Business Council took the initiative to help Africa and work together with Africa to prevent and control the epidemic. For example, together with the Kunming Pharmaceutical, Senshore Biotech, IA Express, and Ethiopian Airlines, we responded quickly to the Ethiopia Ministry of Health in 72 hours for the testing. And up until now, the member companies of China-Africa Business Council have donated more than $2 million to more than 20 African countries. I think this is our responsibility, and I believe that the China-Africa Business Council, in particular the member companies of our council, will continue to try our best to help the African countries to deal with this COVID-19 crisis. We will do our best. And we are together with African countries. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the 20th anniversary of the establishment of China-Africa Cooperation Forum. In this global epidemic, how shall we better promote the economic and trade cooperation between the two sides? I think no matter how serious this crisis is, it will get over in one day, and society needs to move on, although we are still in this epidemic right now, but we are considering after this epidemic, how can we accelerate the pace of economic and trade cooperation between the two sides so that we can mitigate the losses as a result of this epidemic. Therefore, China-Africa Business Council will actively respond to President Xi Jinping's initiative at the China-Africa Summit for the Solidarity on solidarity against the COVID-19. And we, in different areas, we hope that we can help more young people and women in Africa to be employed and to improve the local public health and livelihood facilities. And in the following areas, we hope that we can play a better role as a platform. First, we will continue to play a role as a platform. We hope that we can build an information platform for pandemic prevention and control materials. At the present, the prevention and control of COVID-19 epidemic is still the primary task of African countries. At the same time, other infectious diseases such as malaria, tuberculosis, and TB, Ebola, and AIDS also bring multiple challenges to Africa. Ever since the first confirmed case in Africa on February 15, we have a special committee on medical innovation under our council. We began to produce very important products based on concerning drugs, testing reagents, bacterial supplies, and protective supplies, etc. And we are ready to provide this kind of materials for you. And we are transporting all these materials to African countries. I think we are shouldering the common responsibilities. A lot of member companies of China Africa Business Council are doing their corresponding work. For example, we have the Kunming Pharmaceuticals. In Uganda, it established a medical center, and also Sanshou Biotech provided testing reagent. And also we have the Good Doctors Online medical platform, and they are all helping to help the African countries to respond to this epidemic. Secondly, we will continue to strengthen the construction of the organizational platform. We prepare for the project construction and development special committee, and we are preparing to establish Zhejiang Africa Service Center. And we also try to establish the Belt and Road International Business events, settlement centers in Nigeria, Angola, Ethiopia, and Madagascar. We established a special country groups to provide different services concerning laws and settlement.
We will follow the development trend of China-Africa cooperation, helping the contractors to elevate themselves into developers. Our special committee on engineering, construction, and development consists of members from 50 China-Africa engineering, construction, investment, and development companies. And also we are rallying onto board the experts and scholars in the field so that in the future they will become a special platform featuring China-Africa engineering, construction, and development. Recently, in some key provinces, especially Zhejiang province, we are actually encouraging them to have a substantial cooperation with African entities to provide the feedback to Zhejiang provincial companies working in Africa. We are setting up a center to serve the Zhejiang province companies in Africa, providing policy, legal, financial, and pandemic control, consulting and supporting services to them so that they can remain very steady in their production in Africa. And thirdly, to communicate the positive messages. We need to have a people-to-people cooperation and cross-cultural communication. We're working closely with Star Times, CGTN, to work on the public communication in Africa. We are proactively involved in the special report by Star Times in combating COVID-19 to demonstrate our joint efforts. We are also carrying out public interest innovation contest attended by African youth so that the young leaders of the both continents can work and communicate with each other. Dear entrepreneurs and friends, after the pandemic, we will enter a different world because the international environment and development space will undergo profound changes. The great age of global division of labor is upon us. In the future, we may have several international manufacturing and supply chain clusters. And we have full confidence that Africa will become a very important global manufacturing cluster in the future. I'm leading Holly Group. Since 2000, we went on the journey of internationalization. We have obtained a lot of lessons and experiences. I believe that when you go global, you should not be blind. You need to follow the resources, follow the market opportunities, nurture cross-region, cross-national ability in operation, continue to develop your business overseas. Africa is a must-go destination for us in the future. It has the greatest potential. It has 1.2 billion population, very young population, very fast population growth. And in most countries, it is full of opportunities with huge market. Holly Group, in our 20 years of internationalization, we have made the choice to choose Thailand, Mexico, and Morocco, and Uganda as our go global destination. We have factored in the following issues. We are not just looking at market opportunities. I fully believe that more Chinese companies will go global and will become more globalized, and Africa will be a key choice for their international strategy. Holly is using its own experience to speed up our presence in Uganda and Morocco. We want to build Chinese industrial parks in those two countries. Dear friends, 10 years, 5 years from now, when we look back to today, we know we encountered great international trade and environment challenges, especially the pandemic, and also many countries, the protectionism and anti-globalization are on the rise. Those are not good things. But to take a long-term view, I think they may actually be a good opportunity because they are forcing us to change. Chinese companies will have the opportunity to become an MNC, multinational corporation, if they are able to withstand these external shocks. They don't become natural cross-national companies naturally. So under these downside risks and the pressure, I think it's a good thing for the Chinese companies. Over 40 years of reform and opening up, especially after China's accession to WTO, we became the manufacturing hub of the world. Made in China, sold in the world, this has become a catchphrase of the global community. But in the future, of course, there is so much more we can do. President Xi Jinping is advocating the Belt and Road Initiative. In essence, this idea means that Chinese companies not only make money for themselves, they also need to help peoples around the world to live a better life, to develop better. And also our cooperation in eradicating excessive capacity from China to other countries are the natural path towards a community of shared future. China's development will help other countries. I firmly believe that innovated in China, manufactured in the world, this new age is upon us. And Africa is a continent full of opportunities. And we have a great expectation of Africa. We hope CABC will continue to seize this historical juncture and work closely with African countries, helping more Chinese companies go to Africa to develop their business there and help African countries and people to live a better life. CABC, in this grand time, if we can make our due contribution to the world, if we simply discharge our responsibilities, we can say we have stayed true to our mission. Then I want to say I sincerely hope that all African countries can safely overcome the pandemic and finish the pandemic as soon as possible and resume to normalcy in your life and development as soon as possible. And also, I think that in the post-pandemic period, China-Africa private cooperation can enter a new stage. Thank you.